Welcome to What's Cooking New Ulm. I'm Rebecca Fliszar, the dietitian with the Heart Speed Back Heart of New Ulm project, working to reduce and eventually eliminate heart attacks in the 56073 zip code. Today we have a whole family of chefs here. Welcome to the Guatam and Grace, Katie, and Maya Sarkar family here to cook for us. So we have a really great dish tonight. Tell us a little bit about it, where it came from, and how you think that it's going to be heart healthy.
It will be a very heart healthy dish or a meal. This is an Indian chicken curry meal, and we're going to have the chicken curry on top of rice or over rice. The rice came from this box and it is already going. It takes about 20 minutes to make it in a rice cooker. So that is already in the process being made, and in the meantime we're going to make the chicken curry. Chicken curry, we're going to be using some boneless chicken breast, and that will go with a whole bunch of spices, and I will introduce those spices to you as I use them.
Great.
And we're going to use some vegetables to go with it.
Good. So we have lots of choppers tonight, right? Everybody's here to help chop it up. That's good. And we do have a lot of really unique spices, and something that I learned from this recipe, Guatam, is that we can really do things inexpensively. So do you want to talk a little bit about the bags that we have there?
I have all the spices that Rebecca picked out from local grocery store Cashwise in town. So you don't need to go anywhere else but in town. And most of these spices, if you look at the price tag, they are 10 cents here, 15 cents there, a quarter here, 30 cents there. So all together, I would say they are well under $1.
Which is pretty great. So sometimes when we look at a recipe, we feel a little overwhelmed with the amount of ingredients, and we think that the cost is going to be prohibitive because of that. But when you go to your bulk foods, buy the quantity that you need, and you can really, this dish actually is going to be full of flavor, lots of different ingredients, and yet it's going to be really low cost. So this has been a great learning experience for me too. So girls, let's get to chopping. Tell us what you're doing and what this is going to all entail, all right?
I'm going to be dicing the onion, doesn't matter red or yellow onion, and I will be shaving the carrots, and I'll just be dicing the ginger.
All right.
Ginger root, that is. And we'll also be using some garlic, which is already minced and bought in this way. We could have also bought fresh garlic and chopped them up if we wanted to. It works both ways just fine.
Right. And as a reminder, 1 teaspoon of the already minced garlic is about 1 small clove. If you're using a tablespoon, that does equal an extra large clove. So do temper your ingredients and the amount you're using based on your taste for garlic. All righty. So tell us a little bit about your spices. I'm kind of interested to see what they're all about.
I will just go through the process the way we're going to be cooking in the order. First of all, the oil we'll be using, which is heart healthy olive oil, and I won't even use half of it, so we don't need very much of oil at all, because some of the oil will come from the chicken breast itself, melted fat, so to speak. In that, we'll take some of this oil in a pan or a skillet, and in that we'll add some of these leaves called bay leaves. You may be well familiar with these called cinnamon sticks. I'll probably be using 1 or 2, which is probably a couple of pennies. And then in that, I'll be using or putting some of these cloves, maybe 2 or 3 of them. And then in that, I will also add something like this. It's called whole cardamom. And with all 4 of these being added in the couple of teaspoons of this olive oil, I'll be adding the chopped up onion the girls are preparing there, chopped up ginger root, and some garlic.
Great. Great. So now, Guatam, tell me now, if you were to pick one of these spices, which one is going to be the most distinctive, or which one has the most unique flavor that we need to be maybe a little careful with if we're using something that we haven't tried before?
You know, I believe in one way or the other, you are familiar with all of them.
Okay.
You all know what clove smells like. It has its own distinct smell, which is good. You all probably know how cinnamon smells like.
Right, I know how it is in apple cider. right? That's where I use a cinnamon stick. I've never used
it,
it in cooking.
it is not going to be any different.
Okay.
Bay leaves has its own smell, which is very mild. It is just for aroma in the food.
Okay.
And then I'm not sure if you're familiar with cardamom, however, which does have its own distinct smell. And the cardamom itself looks like this, but you can peel it off, and there are some seeds in there, and those are the one that gives its distinct smell.
Now, is that a typical Indian ingredient in most Indian foods, or
It's
is that
very much so.
okay?
Very
So that's
much
one
so.
of your staple ingredients.
We always use it for aroma and spiciness of it.
Okay. Now, I did notice on your ingredient list there's curry. So tell us a little bit about the curry and how much we'll be using.
We will be using about a teaspoonful of curry powder.
Okay.
And curry powder comes in a powder form like this. I also have it in a container like this.
Mm-hmm.
And it came from local grocery store cash-wise.
Now, this is going to add a little bit of a zip to your dish, right? The curry is what you need to be a little sensitive with?
It does.
Okay.
After all these ingredients being mentioned, I would say curry powder is the one spice which is going to make our food strictly Indian food.
Okay. Now, I've often said on the show, Guatam, that even mashed potatoes are a little spicy for me. So I'm going to see how this goes for me, and I'm going to give it a try.
And most of these, by the way, Rebecca, most of these spices are for color and aroma.
Okay.
They don't necessarily will make our food hot.
Okay.
Actually, they will not.
Okay. All right. Well, girls, I want to spend a couple minutes while you're chopping away here. You do a lot of heart healthy activities. So, you're chopping onions, huh? Caught you crying over here. So tell us how you like to be heart healthy. What do you guys do? I see you're at tennis and you're track and field. And what else, girls? What else do you like to be part of?
We are in skating.
Skating.
I'm in dancing.
Good.
We are all in soccer.
Soccer.
Swimming.
Swimming. Good. So always staying active, right? That's the heart healthy way. That's great. Well, perfect. Guatam, I think we're ready to turn to the stove.
All right. And for the most part, just to mention that all those activities, we do it for fun, not necessarily to stay healthy. That's an added bonus to
Great.
us, but we just like to do it.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's the idea.
All right.
way.
With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get started.
Okay. So how much of each of these are we going to be adding, girls?
About all of this.
Okay, so we got about 2 onions, 1 red and 1 yellow. We've got this was your zucchini. We got a full zucchini. 2 zucchinis, okay.
Big carrots.
3 big carrots, some celery.
3 of these celery sticks.
Okay.
And 2 tomatoes. All these tomatoes.
So I just
Okay.
added some olive oil,
Yeah.
and I'm going to use these 4 items that I told you about.
So girls, tell me, so now you get Indian food and you get American food. So do you still prefer these dishes, or what do you like to have at home?
I prefer onions.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. And do you normally help cook?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah, that's good. Always. All right. Are you always the carrot cleaner?
Mostly.
Mostly? All right. Not with the knife yet, huh? Oh, that's good.
I use knives.
Oh, you do?
But
Okay.
Just right now.
Great. Good. So now, have you guys been able to get involved in anything for Heart of New Ulm, or do you know about the Heart of New Ulm and doing other things?
I've heard of it.
Good.
I've heard of it.
Good. And what about your schools? Are you finding that your schools are having healthier lunches, or do you bring your
Yes.
own? They're working harder at your school lunch?
Yes.
So what have you noticed has changed?
Everything that has bread is whole grain now.
Everything is whole grain. That's great.
Even the pasta is whole grain.
Oh, really? Even the pasta is whole grain. That's good to hear.
And there's lots of vegetables and fruits.
Good, good. And so do you enjoy your school lunches a little bit more?
Yeah.
Oh, good,
Whenever
good,
you are
good.
ready, I would like the onion to be added in there.
All right. He's calling for onion. Now you'll notice that we did chop vegetables first,
Yep.
and so we can reuse these cutting boards because we'll be using the chicken second. Remember, we don't ever want to reverse that, so if you've touched a cutting board with your chicken, with any raw chicken or any raw meat product, that cutting board needs to be washed. So these are going to be great. Our vegetables were first, so we're good to go on that. That looks good. Well, while we go ahead and start cleaning up and getting these vegetables into our saucepans, let's go ahead and check in with Holly with Fit in 5.
Welcome to Fit in 5. You may have noticed if you've been working out at the rec or if you've been to Cashwise, Hy-Vee, or New Telecom, that there's some new machines in town. These are the life clinics brought to you by the Heart of New Ulm Project. These machines are able to test not only your blood pressure, but also your weight and your body mass index, and they'll also allow you to track your progress as you make those healthy lifestyle changes. Today we have Megan. She has volunteered to show us how to set up an account and to use the Life Clinic. The first thing that Megan is going to do today is read the disclaimer on the screen. Once she does that, she's going to hit the continue button at the bottom. The next thing she's going to do is actually create an account. You don't have to create an account with the Life Clinics, but doing so will allow you to actually track your progress no matter what Life Clinic machine you use, because we do have 4 around the city right now, so you can use any one of those with your account and be able to track your progress, not only on those machines, but also online if you have a home computer on lifeclinic.com. So we're going to have Megan create an account just by hitting the My Account button. Once she reads the directions, she'll hit create an account, and it will ask her to create a username and password, so she can hit continue there. And she's starting by entering a username. And then she's going to go ahead and use a password, enter a password. It'll ask her to enter it again. And now you can see that her account has actually been created. From here we can go to the health test. So she can hit the health test button. And the first thing we found that we want to do is go ahead and enter the weight, or hit the weight button. Once she does that, it's going to give her some prompts. There's a bar on the bottom just below her feet. She's going to put her feet on that bar, put her hands in her lap, and then hit the start button. Then it's going to give her her weight. Now we can also check her BMI or body mass index. If she wants to go ahead and push the body mass index button, she can. And from there I'll ask her to enter her height. So she's going to enter that in feet and inches. And then hit enter, yeah. Enter again. Sometimes it's a little bit sticky. We're a lot sticky.
Try hitting off that.
There you go. Now she can hit enter again. And it's going to give her her body mass index, and you're going to see a little chart here as well. So it'll tell where exactly she falls in that category, and you can see that her BMI is within the normal range. From here, if she wants to do more tests, she sure can, just by hitting the tests menu button. Now we can go ahead and do the blood pressure and pulse rate. So she's going to go ahead, hit that button, and you're going to get a little disclaimer here that says that we're basically just going to pinch your arm a little bit, and if you're okay with that, you can hit I agree. And it'll prompt her now to go ahead and put her arm in the sleeve and hit start. It's actually going to tell her not to talk or move. And that can seem a little bit silly for a blood pressure reading, but we do actually find that the results are a little bit different if you're talking or moving around. So we like to keep you as still as possible. This can take a little while to read. And you're going to see the same thing. Here is her blood pressure, which you can see is fairly normal. Pulse rate's probably a little bit high right now due to the camera in her face, but it'll also give a pulse rate. We do have cards available, so if she wanted to write all her information down, she sure could. But she has created an account, so now all she needs to do is go to the Save button. And it'll ask her to save selections or save all, and we want her to save all. So that will save all the measurements that she did today. So now it's saving her test results. So if she wanted to go tomorrow to the machine at Cashwise, she could go out there, enter her username and password, and she would be able to then look at what the measurements she took today, as well as the measurements she would take then. To end the life clinic session, all Megan needs to do is just stand up and the machine will actually reset itself.
All right, Holly, those are some great tips. Thanks for the great information. All right, Guatam, why don't you catch us up on where we're at and what you've done?
Well, I have sauteed the onion, ginger root, and some garlic. And I have added the chopped up chicken in there, and I'm sauteing them all together.
Okay. Now, ginger root is going to be a very strong taste. That is going to make a difference. So if you haven't tried ginger in your cooking before, it is something that you want to use in small quantities until you're sure you like it. It is really very aromatic. It's going to add a lot. But if you're not a big fan, you might want to skip that one and leave it out. We have plenty of spices tonight that are going to add to this flavor. So it's going to be a really great dish. So girls, tell me a little bit about what else you like to make at home. What else do you guys like to cook?
One of my favorites is chili chicken.
Chili chicken. What goes into that?
A lot of chicken and a lot of bell pepper.
Oh, bell pepper. Okay.
And soy sauce.
Soy sauce. Okay. So tell me a little bit more about your spices. So that's not something I'm very familiar with. So what are your favorites, or what's something you like to have added to all your food?
When I add the spices, I always add a little extra curry powder.
Ah, you like it hot. Spicy, I should say, right?
Curry powder is not hot, by the way.
Not hot.
It's
Curry
not
powder is
hot.
not
It
hot.
adds a lot of flavor, and so I always sneak in a little extra.
All right.
If you put red curry powder in this,
Red curry is different then.
yeah.
Okay.
To make our dishes hot, we add jalapeno pepper.
Okay. So you have lots of it. So you guys like it that way? Yeah? All right. So you guys aren't big fans of mashed potatoes?
Oh, I love it.
Oh, we
you like
love
them all.
mashed
Okay. So now, have you guys grown up here in New Ulm your whole lives? Are you from
No.
here?
I lived here since I was 4.
Okay. How about you?
We've been living here for about 5 or 6 years.
Okay. And where did you come from?
California.
Ah,
San Francisco.
San Francisco. Okay, that's great. So you like the Minnesota winters?
It's okay.
It's okay.
I'm
Huh?
more of a California person.
Are you? Yeah. All right. All right, Guatam. So how much longer on the chicken? What should we be looking for on your chicken?
Well, within the next few minutes or so, I'm going to add some of these spices,
Okay.
such as curry powder and turmeric and ground coriander
Okay.
and ground cumin. And I'm going to add half a teaspoon here, a teaspoon there.
All right.
And after that, I'm going to add the diced tomato and saute a little more, and then add the vegetable and cover it up. It'll simmer for a few minutes. It's all done.
Okay. So now tell me, is red curry and curry, does it come from a different plant or is it processed a little differently?
I think they're two different
Plants.
plants.
Okay. All right. That sounds good. But you know, you look at the color of this and we're going to find a lot of different nutrients in here. So tell me, what do you find in carrots? We all know this one, right? Tastiness. What vitamin is in there? What do we eat carrots for? Vitamin A, right? Those help us see. That's right. So if you can, for a night vision, that's something that we eat carrots for, right? So they help us see at night. So all of your orange vegetables are going to be for that. And your tomatoes actually are really high in something called lycopene. And lycopene helps prevent cancer and heart disease. And so that's actually something that we try to keep in a lot of our diet, in a lot of our foods, because it's exactly what the Heart of New Ulm is trying to do, and that's prevent heart attacks. So we love to use those. And you know, our zucchini and squash are coming out of our garden right now. They're just at the tail end. So this is a great recipe to put those in and make sure we're using up the rest from our garden. So you guys made a really good choice tonight. So this looks good.
That's good.
Yeah. All right, Guatam, walk us through these spices.
All right, I am adding, this is called ground turmeric powder.
Okay.
And this is mostly for its color.
Okay.
It's going to be a yellowish color to it. And I'm just going to guesstimate
Yeah.
how much to put. It's probably half a teaspoon.
Great. And that's the nice thing about herbs and spices. They don't add any calories, no saturated fat,
Nope.
no cholesterol. So, these are definitely to taste. So, if you like turmeric, add plenty more. And if you don't, that's something that can be left out. So that's great.
Yep, this is
All right,
ground
this is the one.
curry powder. And once again, I'm just going to eye it.
Okay.
It's totally up to you how much you want to add. These are mostly for color and aroma.
Okay.
No calories whatsoever.
Great.
This is ground coriander.
Coriander.
Most of you use coriander leaves at grocery store, fresh. It can also be found this way.
Perfect. And I did notice when we picked that up, I spent a whole 7 cents on my
Yeah.
coriander.
Yes.
It was expensive.
And since I'm not even going to use all of it, I'm probably using a
Only
couple
about
of
2
pennies.
cents, yeah.
And then I'm going to use something called ground cumin.
Okay.
It's cumin seed, but it's ground.
Great. Things like cumin and some of the others we might find in things like chai tea or some of the other spices that we like to drink is probably the way we find those most familiar to us, but definitely not used in cooking as much as they should be. So this is going to come out as a great dish. Yeah, that definitely changed the color of it.
It is
So we're
becoming
seeing a
a
nice-
little yellowish
Yep, a nice golden
because
yellow.
of that. And now I would like to add the tomatoes.
Tomatoes. Here you go. There you go. So you guys will remember what was in this, right? Remember what it's called? Lycopene.
Do you need any help to carry it over, or should
Oh,
I?
she's got a little place.
Okay. So whoever wants to, just
Nope.
add it to it. All right. So that's
next.
tomatoes. And then I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of salt and a little bit of sugar.
Okay.
And that is also to your taste. There is
Right.
no measurement for it. It's how salty or this is sugar, right?
Yes.
I need a pinch of it.
Okay. And when we look at the portion sizes that will be served with this dish, a small amount of salt and sugar are really not going to make a big difference
Nope.
in calories or our overall sodium intake. So if it's going to enhance the flavor without increasing our sodium, it's a good addition. Remember, we are looking for those 2,000 milligrams a day to cap out our sodium intake. So a quarter of a teaspoon will have 500 milligrams. Be careful with what you're adding. Put your salt shaker down and make sure you're reading your food label.
And really look at this. This is how much sugar I'm adding.
And that's the sugar. Yep, that looks
So it's
good.
a couple of pinches.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll add salt from there, please. A little more than that.
Okay.
There's not much involved at all.
So we did start the rice in the rice cooker. That's going to take about 20 minutes when making traditional rice. This can be used with instant rice as well. This is going to be served today with about
Salt.
with white rice. Have you guys ever tried it with like a whole grain rice or a brown rice? You haven't tried that yet, but it could be a substitution we could make, right?
We
Good.
can.
Yep. Great.
And the yellow color comes from the turmeric
Okay.
and curry powder.
Good. So are those the two I'm going to taste? Is that what makes it distinctive?
Mostly.
Okay.
Yes, you will.
So now are we going to leave those bay leaves in there, or are we going to pull those out?
You can pull that out right before you eat or serve.
Okay.
Right now you want it in there to get all the aroma out of there.
Okay. So leave it
So-
in there the whole time we're cooking it up.
Yes.
Great.
And now we are getting there to the point where we can add the vegetables right on top, kind of spread it out, and then we'll simmer it by covering it.
I think we can do it. You got it, girls? Simmer that.
Go ahead.
So we're going to get 2 to 3 servings of vegetables just in this one dish. This is an excellent way to get your fruits and vegetables every day. Remember, we are looking for that 7 to 9 servings with the Mediterranean diet. So this is going to put you right well on your way to getting to where you need to be. And I really like the color that we're seeing in here too.
And you just let it simmer for a while. It will
Okay.
be done soon.
All right, so how long should we let this simmer?
You know, the trick to this is that if you simmer it for a longer period of time at very, very low temp, it really mixes up the aroma and the taste.
Okay.
So it depends on how much of a hurry you are in.
All right.
We can leave it there for 5 minutes. We can leave it there for 10 minutes.
Okay.
It's kind of like how much time we have.
All right, that sounds great.
It's a great time to set up your table,
Mhm.
put the plates out and milk out, whatever you want to drink. And by the time you are ready to set up the table,
It's all done and set to go. Well, we're going to check back with you in about 5 minutes when we're ready to eat. All right, girls?
Yeah.
All right. All right, Guatam, we've got our vegetables ready to go. They're nice and steamed. We took about a 10-minute break, so we're going to see them nice and ready to go. So why don't we plate this up and tell us how it's going to work.
So we're going to have chicken curry over rice. Chicken curry is done with the veggies to go with them or go with it. So here is some rice.
You know, and that's a great portion size. So you're seeing that Guatam's putting between 1/3 and 2/3 of a cup. That's going to count for about 2 of our grain servings for the day, and that's exactly what we're looking for. You know, we don't need to have our plate overfilled with the rice because our chicken and vegetables are really going to be what fill us up. So just a little bit of rice to give us a good base, and let's see how those vegetables turned out. So girls, who gets the first plate? Huh? Am I going to have to fight you for it? Okay. So they should be fairly tender, yes?
Yep, they will be just fine.
What we're looking for is about a 1/2 cup to a 3/4 cup serving of the chicken. The vegetables, again, are always unlimited. The more you can get, the better. So, you know, we're going to have a nice serving size. This is going to be a very filling meal, and it really is about a 1 or 2 pot meal. So not a lot of dishes with this one, and yet it's full of great flavor. Guatam did mention to me that so as the vegetables are sitting on top, we're not going to absorb too much of those spices into the vegetables. So if you're not big on all of these spices, you can still enjoy the vegetables on the top. You can enjoy the rice and a little bit of the chicken, and you won't be overpowered by any of the seasonings that have been added. So a great way to do it, and the vegetables are nice and steamed in there as well.
So here is your complete meal, so to speak.
Yeah, you know, that's beautiful. This, you can see all the different colored vegetables. Our chicken has a different color, and it's going to have a lot of great flavor to it, and our rice complements that pretty well. So this came out pretty nice. This is a beautiful plate, and I'm going to give it a try. All right? Well, I wanted to thank the Sarkar family for coming in today and bringing us this great recipe, and we'll hope to see you on the show again. All right?
Thank you for having us here.
All right. Well, that's it for this week's episode of What's Cooking, You All. We'll see you next week.